coffee, sipped in green tea, or gulped down in a soda, maybe even knocked up in a headache though, caffeine is known to be the world's most popular psychoactive drug. Many people resort to caffeinated products in order to keep them more focused, alert, and or awake. Studies show that caffeine have no harm. However, it does come in forms such as in energy drinks, which are widely or commonly known to be harmful. On top of that, the New York Times has a Center of Science on the Public Interest, or CSPI study, that shows that a Starbucks Grande has about 320 milligrams of caffeine, which is 4 times the amount you will find in a Red Bull can. So what is it about caffeine that is beneficial, yet somehow harmful at the same time? As a university student put under lots of academic pressure, especially considering the workload in design studio, I happen to drink about 3 times the amount of coffee or caffeine that I did before entering university. The changes in my health status the last couple of years have motivated me to learn more about this topic through books, journal articles, magazines, and newspapers, relating all this information to my own personal experience. Each of us in this room have a different health status, considering age and gender as important factors. However, as AUS is considered to be one of the best and most challenging universities in the region, all of us as university students attending here go through a lot of academic pressure and resort to caffeine intake or coffee intake, or at least caffeinated beverages, from time to time. Therefore, in learning this information about caffeine, each of you here can begin to relate your personal health status to your caffeine intake in order to either maintain or improve your health status as you stay in AUS. Today we'll learn about the positive and negative impacts that caffeine has on different age groups and genders. Let's begin with the history of caffeine, which is basically its discovery, its significance, its early uses and roles. According to Weinberg and Beeler, in their book, A World of Caffeine, some anthropologists speculate that most of the plants used to yield caffeine were discovered back in the Paleolithic times, as early as 1700,000 BC. In the 17th century, after coffee and tea were introduced, especially in Europe, caffeine achieved a universal cultural presence up to this day. The cultural life of caffeine by the 20th century, as spread through coffee and tea, had become so intertwined with the Western world's social habits and artistic pursuits, that the biggest cash crop on earth is coffee berry and the most popular drink, tea. In 1819, the scientific history of caffeine began as the German Sir Frederick Rudge first isolated the chemical from coffee. Although the chemical substance of caffeine remained a mystery until the late 19th century, both coffee and tea were seen as drugs. At the time of their discovery and early use, both coffee and tea, and later on cola as well, were considered medicine. Also in Weinberg and Beeler's book, a physician known for describing the circulation in the blood, as you may know, Sir William Harvey, was mentioned to have started using coffee for its medical benefits starting from the 17th century in order to help digestion, improve performance, alleviate migraine headaches, and so on. Sir Gideon Harvey, an English physician and medical writer, wrote in his book Advice Against the Plague in 1665, coffee is recommended against contagion. This was at the time that the bubonic plague was in the process of killing 250,000 of London's population. Moving on, according to the German Association for the Promotion of Coffee Consumption, coffee is one of the most important trade commodities worldwide, with over 100 million people or more involved in the growing, manufacturing, and trading processes. Now that you have been introduced to the history of caffeine, let's move on to learning about the drug itself and comparing it to other addictive drugs. In the information presented on the website, and within the information presented on a website known as Food Insight, caffeine improves physical performance and mental awareness. However, a sudden withdrawal from caffeine after consuming it on a regular basis results in irritability, headaches, and difficulty in concentration, which is similar to other addictive drugs. As there are many positive outcomes to consuming caffeine, there are also many negative effects, aggravating PMS, ladies, impairing memory, and if consumed excessively, may result in irregular heartbeat, insomnia, or confusion. Although caffeine consumption affects everyone, its effects vary from one person to the other. While some might realize a difference in their physical performance, others maybe not so much. In the article, Caffeine and Exercise, Roberts shares that caffeine consumption prior to working out has two major benefits. It extends endurance performance during tough aerobic exercises and a less overall effort, which may lead to a more enjoyable time working out. Also, caffeine consumption prior to exercise has a metabolic, musculoskeletal, sorry, I pronounced that bad, and a central nervous system stimulant effect that seems to benefit only in prolonged exercises. Caffeine can improve mental alertness while in work, during studying, and can improve memory and reasoning for sleep-deprived people. In addition, instead of causing dehydration, as some may believe, caffeinated beverages actually contribute to hydration. In fact, according to the IOM, or Institute of Medicine, caffeinated beverages in general, including coffee, tea, and sodas, can contribute to the individual's total daily water intake. Learning about caffeine and its history and the drug itself was beneficial. Now we can move on to its health effects. Positive and negative impacts on different age groups are shown in a 2011 recent article titled Health Effects of Energy Drinks on Children, Adolescents, and Young Adults. We find that although markets target energy drinks to teens and middle-aged adults, over a 3-year period, the U.S. Prison Control Centers received more than 40% reports of children under the age of 6. The most serious cases were suffering from seizures and heart problems. Adults consuming more than 400 milligrams of caffeine a day and teenagers more than 100 milligrams of caffeine a day are in danger of getting poisoned. For children, caffeine is not recommended at all, as every 2.5 milligrams for every 2.2 pounds of body weight is considered dangerous. Therefore, energy drinks are in no means intended for the young in age, as some energy drinks contain up to 400 milligrams per serving. Despite the age, while these drinks are mixed with alcohol, or some of these drinks are mixed with alcohol, problems can be worse, especially for those with heart problems. Finally, according to the fact sheet on women's health, also by Food Insight, many women, especially those that desire to get pregnant, are concerned with consuming too much coffee. However, scientists worldwide have confirmed that an average of 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine intake a day does not reduce fertility and does not have any effects on pregnancy or miscarriage. In conclusion, as approved by the FDA, or the Food and Drug Administration, caffeine, a naturally occurring substance found in leaves, seeds, and fruits of 63 different species worldwide, when consumed at moderate amounts, is generally recognized as safe. However, sensitivity levels, whether negative or positive, differ from one person to the other. Each of us in this room have different interests in caffeinated beverages. Some of us are used to drinking a cup of coffee in the morning, others would rather a tea as a healthier substitute, and some others would rather boost their energy through energy drinks and sodas, all of which contain caffeine but at different quantities and therefore slightly different side effects. Therefore, knowing how sensitive your bodies are to caffeinated drinks and aware of the caffeine intake you're getting after each drink type may definitely help you to make better decisions regarding concerning the levels of intake your body can handle during a certain amount of time in order to reduce harmful results and increase the best possible outcomes.
Questions? Are there any positive effects of caffeine?
Mental alertness and physical performance, especially during exercise.
Those are the only two?
During studying, they're the titles. You can make that go in studying, work, exercise. You just
And are there better types of caffeine than others? So for instance, caffeine that exists in chocolate versus caffeine that is just processed into coffee.
It depends on the quantities of caffeine in each type, but generally tea is, stereotyped to be the best kind.
Okay.
And the ones in energy drinks are the worst because they usually have excessive amounts mixed with other stuff like alcohol, for example, which is bad, especially for people that, especially because it's open to all ages. They sell it in markets when kids go buy it and things go wrong.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. Thanks.